everyone. We are back. It is Shay and Sema.
Hi.
Hey. Today we're going to be talking about a really cool topic because we get asked about it pretty often from beginners and from people that have been working in the industry for a long time. It's a tricky topic. We're going to be talking about how to be on social media platforms and do you need to be on Instagram? Do you need to be on TikTok, Facebook, Threads, Twitter, all these platforms? As an artist, what are your goals and what platforms should you be on? Because I feel like sometimes platforms, the amount of them can get really intimidating.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't know how to navigate which to be on, how much to post. There's a lot of different advice on the internet where it's you have to be posting 3 times a day or 3 times a week. And it's just a lot of pressure, especially when you're trying to get better at your own craft, which is essentially tattooing. It's not blogging, it's not videotaping yourself, it's not editing. Those are all different skills of their own with people that do that job full time.
Yeah. So you almost have to be multi-talented to even have your own business running. You have to kind of know what works on social media because for the most part, I feel like a lot of people get their clients that way.
Oh, 100%. At the shop, most of the time when we ask the customer, how do you find out about us? They do say Instagram.
9 out of 10 times.
I wouldn't say 9 out of 10. I would say 8 out of 10 maybe, but that's still the majority. Yeah. So what does it take to get people from their phone through the door? And, for 8 years, I was not in a hot location. It was kind of a very low-key location, so nobody would know about it if I wasn't on social media. So I would say that your IG page nowadays matters 1,000% way more than your physical location.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just think that for somebody that's a little bit older or somebody that's just getting into the industry, or going from having a personal social media page to a business social media page, it can be so intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to kind of dive into that and kind of talk about different things that you can do to not make it so intimidating and to make it personalized to you. So before we get started, I just want to mention that we are actually working on a new course. Sorry, did I sound so loud?
No, you were just
Okay. So we're working on a new course. It is going to be releasing this August. It is for the girls who took the Nano Brow course and just felt like it might have been a little bit too tough because we did have a lot of enrollments over the past 2 years. And we had a good success rate, but there was a certain amount of people that wanted to get started with something a little bit easier because, as everybody knows, nano is the hardest form of brow PMU.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming out with a course that teaches you how to do nano in combination with ombre. It looks so natural, and it's going to be a great course. So I'm really excited to release that. Other than that, do you have any announcements before we dive right into it?
I have nothing to announce. I don't know what I would announce.
I don't know, how was your week?
I'm just going to announce what I did this weekend.
Yeah, you can do that.
I went to the park.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, was I there?
No.
No. You went with you guys painted?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right. So now that Sema made her weekend announcement, we could dive right into it. Okay. So basically, the way I get started with Instagram, everyone hates being on. It doesn't matter how big you are. I feel like even celebrities have a really tough time internalizing or not internalizing what is happening on social media. It can be so toxic.
Yeah. And what I've seen online recently is parasocial relationships, and this is very trendy, or not trendy, but a hot topic right now of Doja Cat just being I don't like my fans. I don't even know you guys. I don't even know you guys.
Wait.
Because people are having parasocial relationships with her through the internet, and they don't even know her. They'll have fan accounts of her and just like obsess over her and want her attention so bad. But she's just like, dude, like, I don't even know you. So I don't know. In the way she did it, like the way she said it was wrong, but what she said wasn't wrong.
No, I feel that. I don't want to talk about this on a podcast, but you know, my best friend for 20 years. We're like sisters, right? We grew up together, everything's cool. And I think for the past year, our relationship went from texting to, I mean, it was calling, and then it went to texting, and then it went to just liking each other's stories.
Yeah.
And then for a whole year, all we did is like each other's stories.
So it's like you just have a parasocial relationship
Yes.
with someone that you actually knew.
Yeah, and it hurt my feelings more than not knowing them. So I know this is like kind of Doja Cat aggressive, but I just like I just had to block her because I was like, this hurts my feelings more than
You just blocking me and
or like if
whatever?
we just
Or
didn't
just
have
ghosted
that.
you? Or
Yeah. Like I'd rather you completely ghost me than turn my relationship into a relationship that I would have with somebody I don't
like
even
something
know.
that's like superficial.
It's not, no, it can like
Like, is
I
it?
don't mind if something is superficial.
Yeah.
What I mind is if the same relationship I have with somebody that I consider a sister turns into the same relationship that I have with people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, I rather not downgrade the relation. It's kind of like why great bands break up before they get bad.
Yeah.
Like,
I know what you mean.
like Led Zeppelin stopped playing music right after the drummer died because they're like, we're not going to put out, we're just going to stop it. It's great. I'm going to just keep it in a treasure box. We're not going to downgrade it until it like turns to shit and dies and people remember us for what we turned into rather than what we were.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of did that with like the relationship because I'm like, I don't want it to, I mean, like this is the lowest form of a relationship, I think. So anyway, I don't want to keep talking about that, but yeah, that's kind of what happened. And I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, now that you guys know a little bit about my personal life, not that I have much news there. Yeah, I'm mainly like 90% business, 10% like a real person at this point. So okay, what I really want to talk about is how to set up your social media pages or page to be something that you're excited about. And this is something that I do. So what I like to start out with, and I always start this in everything, in tattooing, in my life, in my marriage, in everything, a pen and paper. Just go grab a pen and paper and write down what you want. And it's way different than thinking about what you want because we think we're so great in our head, but the brain is always like playing games on us and we have no idea. So take a pen and paper, really write down what you want because a lot of times you don't even know it until you see it on paper. And then after you see your goals, try to visualize the posts that will help you attain those goals. And I guarantee that each one of those goals will have you posting something slightly different. So don't post without purpose, you know? Like I feel like a lot of people get on social media and they get kind of dragged by, you know, the trends that are going on or the sound that's going on. So instead of them being firm and setting up their goal, they're just kind of being tossed around by what's happening. And I feel like that can happen with, for example, why a lot of people fail in business is because they get tossed around by life. So instead of saying this week, and I can fall like victim to this too, but like instead of saying this week I'm gonna get this and that done, well then like somebody calls like says I want to make plans here, gotta go to the gym here, tire pops on that day. Like they don't account for just life, so they make too many plans and like they end up doing random things. So you're like productive, you're busy, but you're actually not getting anything done. Mm-hmm. That can happen with social media too, where you're like posting, but it's not aligning with your goals. And I think a lot of people can fall prey too with like hiring somebody, wasting a ton of money on actually getting somebody to post for them, but then they're not aligning. And so instead of building up momentum, building up money, and then hiring somebody, they're trying to like work it backwards, and I feel like it never works out because you can't even afford the person you're hiring. And then you end up with like I don't know, now you're like under budget. And I mean, I don't know. I think every failure has a success to it that comes out of it. But I think too, like you can over hire in the beginning if you don't know what to do. I just feel like you have to know what you want.
Yeah.
And I think too, what ended up happening, what I wanted to share about this point too is, remember when we were posting on TikTok and we actually found really nice momentum with checking homework.
Yeah.
So our brand basically stands for a lot of different things. And being an interactive course, having interactive courses with feedback was a major thing that we were doing that a lot of other companies weren't doing. So I was so happy that it was being highlighted. But I will say that like there came a point where the momentum started growing in a way where it required me to do things that I didn't want to do. For example, there was a time where we were getting, I kid you not, like 300 comments of people saying, draw my family's name with an M, L, M, N, and these are all the initials, and I want this in a tattoo, and I want to know what it looks like.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we had a video blow up one time. And so I kept doing it because I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting followers. Like I'm like growing followers. It's so cool. Like we're getting so many comments and it's kicking off on TikTok and it was so cool. But yeah, basically they wanted me to sit in my house and for me to gain 1 million followers. And if I did this, I probably would have hit maybe not 1 million, but 500,000 if I just kept going with it. But I would have ended up sitting in my house and drawing people's like family names all day. And that would have been my TikTok page. That would have been my brand. But that did not align with my goals. It would have grew my page, but I don't think it really would have grew any other part of my life.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this really what I want?
Yeah.
And I end up seeing, you know who ends up falling prey for this? I feel like, and I feel really bad to say this, but I feel like comedians end up falling like victim for this. They get attention for a specific type of joke, so they keep cracking the same joke.
Yeah.
Because they're like, people don't give a fuck about what I say unless I'm saying this.
It depends. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it depends on who the comedian is because sometimes it's like for example, and this is like the most popular comedian at this time right now is like Matt Rife. He only posts.
Is that the guy that looks like the guy from The Doors? That talks to his audience?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
that's what he puts on like an actual stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
But he only ever posts like the audience interactions because he knows like
people like that.
People like that. And I think that's what gained him most like attraction. Like yeah, because he was like focusing on that. But I don't know. I've never seen his actual jokes before, but I've only ever seen like the audience stuff.
I mean, whatever he's doing, he's kicking ass though, because I heard he just sold out like a 6,000 people show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like in that industry, that doesn't happen often.
No.
Yeah, no. Whatever he's doing is working out, and sometimes like following what the people want is what works.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, like it takes you away from what you really want to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like there has to be a balance. You have to give people what they want. You have to do it to grow. Like you can't be posting whatever you want to post all the time because a lot of times people like don't care about what you like.
Yeah. See, Doja Cat's like losing a lot of followers because she's like, I don't even care about you guys. I just made those 2 albums because they were gonna be popular. I knew they were gonna be popular.
Right. But
she
it wasn't
literally
like
just said that.
Well, I mean like I get it. I feel like it's kind of offensive to say that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think building like a golden cage for yourself and just doing whether it's your management, whether it's your salon, whether it's what the social media people want you to do. I mean, if it takes you away from what really makes you happy, is it really worth it though?
I mean, I don't know, because in her case, she was saying, like, I made my money, I'm done. I'm just trying to go back to my family now.
I mean, that's valid. So she was like, it's worth it to an extent.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with that.
And she's like, I don't want to do pop anymore. Like, it's not even my kind of music. Like, she's like, if I want to make another album, I'm just gonna make like R&B or like hip hop or whatever.
And there's definitely like courage when it comes down to that too.
Because she's getting a lot of hate for it, and
but
like
she's probably
in a
gonna
way,
get a lot of love too from people that want the R&B.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's still gonna make. Everyone's saying, like, I mean, she's a great artist. She's like one of the best musicians of our age, but like, she's as a person, she's like rude, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I can see, but yeah, like, she just, the way she's saying it is rude, but I feel like all celebrities and all people with a platform kind of feel that way.
I mean, just saying it out loud sometimes saying the thing that everybody is probably feeling or saying can come off as rude.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
no one's saying it for a reason because they know it's like gonna offend people.
Right. And I feel like you never want to like throw rocks at what's feeding you.
Yeah.
But I think it's so rude to look at the people that got you this money, got you to the where you want to be, then look at them, just be like, hey, I'm done. I used you.
Yeah.
I don't need you anymore.
That's actually literally that's what they feel. That's like what her like fan base feels like. Oh, well, I just feel used now because I fell.
And I feel like you didn't have to like destroy it. You don't have to destroy what you built. Like you could be, because like Lady Gaga did the same thing when she turned 30. She basically broke ties with a lot of record labels and started making like Joanne, and then she made a few other things after that. She got in acting, so she started doing things she actually wanted to do instead of pop. But when Lady Gaga came out, it was only pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, because that's what
sold her.
Yeah,
and a lot of times what sells you, it isn't even good. It's just what the people want. For some reason, the majority of people want your worst shit. For some fucking reason.
Every single time.
In comedy, in music, in art, in what we do, in tattoos, like, people want to confine you to what is the popular thing, which normally isn't what you want to do.
Yeah.
So I think, like, breaking out of that, you can still walk out respectfully. You don't have to slam the door.
It's true.
You know?
Like, I feel like she could have wrote like a message or whatever and posted it on her Instagram like, hey, like, this was great, but I'm just trying to go back to my
love the way Lady Gaga did it. I'm a Lady Gaga fan, but I'm like obsessed with the way Lady Gaga retired from pop.
Does she even have any controversies? Like, I feel like she's not controversial.
Well, she's kind of cool as shit. Like, I feel like you can't be mad at her, but I'm sure she does. I'm sure Kathleen knows about what she has with controversies. She doesn't. She has done nothing wrong. Kathleen has all the fun
Lady
facts.
Gaga's based.
On everything. But anyway, so yeah, like the whole point of us talking about that is you have to really like see your limits of how much are you willing to do what is working, and is that thing that's working, is it aligning with your lifestyle? You know, because there are times too when you end up doing the one thing. Like, I'm trying to think of the one thing. For me, I guess I did get kind of confined into doing some tattoos that I didn't really care for. Like, I don't like a lot of the tiny tattoo requests that I get, and I hate that I've become that artist. But I didn't intend that for that to happen, because I was trying to do bigger stuff. But the more that people walked in with little ideas, the more I ended up like doing little ideas, and then people was just like, oh, she just
that's what she does.
She just doesn't do bigger tattoos. But like, really, I'm dying for somebody to come in and like ask me for something out of what I've been posting. But it's hard to do that because then they assume that you're not doing that.
Yeah, but what you could do is like tattoo some flash and
absolutely
say like, hey, like, this is what I'm down to do.
Oh, absolutely.
If you wanted to.
No,
but
absolutely.
I feel like you have a lot on your plate right now anyway.
Well, 100%. And I think balancing what you want to do, for example, like I want to make Flash, but what's working for me right now is like the Beauty Institute.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I love doing both, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
But if I hated doing one side of my business, it would like I wouldn't be able to sleep at night because I would be like stuck doing something I don't want to do because it's making the money. And I feel like with social media, it's the same thing. Like, you have to just be careful about, are you being molded or are you molding it? So that's just one thing that I wanted to bring up. And then let's see. I think a big question a lot of people have is when starting out, should they start a business page and should they just keep their personal page? Like what do you think?
What do I think? I think it depends. Well, I don't know. I think you should keep your personal page. I don't like mixing business and life into one. I mean, I don't really have a business.
Right.
But
when you see it, like from the people that you follow,
I'd rather them just have a business page just because I feel like it looks more professional.
Yeah.
And like it kind of weirds me out if I'm like scrolling through like a hairdresser's Instagram and like there's just pictures of her babies too. Like I just want to see hair. Like really.
Right. Like I
Like
followed you for the hair. Like
yeah.
quite honestly.
I mean, it's fine to post like
Here and there.
Yeah, here and there, like oh, like my wedding or whatever. But like, I don't know. I don't want to post like I don't want to follow a personal page.
Right.
That's
like,
also kind of your business. I don't know. Just
yeah.
make a business page really at that point.
No, I feel you. Like I feel like I kind of felt trapped into that. Like not trapped, but like I had that mental thing where, because my first Instagram turned into my business.
Yeah.
Like it was makeup and henna. Mm-hmm. So basically I started a page and at first I think it might have been my name.
Yeah.
And then I started posting makeup work, getting followers for the makeup. And then it was a mix of me, makeup, and henna. So it was like and then I turned into like this like micro influencer that does cool stuff for your face and for your hands.
Yeah.
And then I started like doing more stuff and adding more stuff and adding more stuff. But then I was like, is this me or is this what I do? And then I came to the conclusion, my personal conclusion, that I think it was like all of me. So then I had to break out and like brand the Beauty Institute, different brand. M33, different brand. So for me, the solution was creating brands.
Yeah.
And giving them different pages, different aesthetics, because like I did those brands, but I'm not those brands.
You can't just like carry it all on your back too.
No, and it's not good for your business. You can't grow that way.
Yeah.
So I think that there's different solutions to, you know, if you should make separate pages. Now, I think if like your page name is like hair by Shay or brows by Shay or tattoos by Shay, and you're working in a studio by yourself, I don't think you need to be working at like a branded studio.
Yeah.
Because people are just going to be like, who works here? Who works at, I don't know, let's call it like Canon.
Yeah.
Like Canon is a brand.
Yeah.
And then you're just like one person.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think if you're just a person that does something, I don't think you should separate your page.
Yeah, I don't think, that's why I said it depends. I'm like, well,
because I think there are people who feel the same way you do, but then there are a lot of people that literally came to me because they're like, I like the way I like your baking stories, and I just feel like you could be good friends. And I rather sit in your chair.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like I feel like you have different business entities. Like if you're just one person doing one thing, keep your own personal page, just like how you had it.
Yeah.
But then when it like outgrew your personal,
right, then you gotta separate.
But
not in the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, I don't have to in the beginning, but
because I feel like too, like when you're starting out, a lot of people that you knew from high school, you knew from college, the people that see your personal feed, like those might be your first customers,
and they might want to support you.
They're gonna want to support you 100%. Like everybody's first customers are people that
like family or friends
or mutual friends or friends of friends or, you know, people you knew from when you were on like the, I don't know, swim team or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why wouldn't you want these people to see like what you're doing? Yeah. So I think, no, absolutely, like don't separate it. Okay. And I think one of the last things I want to talk about is not to let the analytics define your success. Like there are multi-million-dollar brands with 6,000 followers on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I work with so many brands that have a follow. Like actually, one of the biggest brands we work with, like that hosts a lot of our online stuff. I mean, they're traded on the stock market, and they have like 12,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. So like, don't measure somebody's success by how many followers they have. Yeah. I feel like clients get in the habit too of letting you know that like, oh, everybody's going to that person because they have 100,000 followers. Like it's not true. People like post what you're proud of, and I promise you, like people will come through your door, and people that might not even follow you on Instagram might still book with you. It's not an accurate measure of how well you're doing.
No, it's not everything.
No, and it's not an accurate measure of how well somebody else is doing too.
Yeah, because you could be wanting to do your brows and you're like, okay, I'll go to the girl with 100,000 followers. And then I mean, like, the work isn't necessarily good, but they have the following anyway.
Because they probably did what they didn't want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It always comes down to that. So I feel like don't get trapped into these like mental, toxic mental traps that come with social media. Like, I think social media is so important, but it's also so important to keep the integrity of the work that you want to do. Post your best work. And like, I've posted shit that I'm so fucking proud of that only got like under 100 likes. But I'm like, this is my favorite thing that I've ever posted. And just because it didn't get the traction that I thought it would get or wanted it to get, it doesn't mean that it's bad work at all.
No.
So I feel like, you know, there's so much more to having a business that's successful that does not include a business that is, like, has so many followers. Yeah, so I think a good thing too that I would want people to realize is that sometimes when you're doing something and you want the followers, you want the likes, you want the clients in the door, doubling down on content is not always the answer to creating a more successful business. There are so many behind the scenes systems and strategies that people can be doing that would change their business into a more successful business. And it's always not necessarily like posting more or like creating different content or more content or putting out more than when you want to, or, you know, kind of like, what's the word? Exploiting your business, exploiting yourself in a way, because you're trying so hard to get this business to work. Like, it's not always visible, it's not always on Instagram, and it's not always showing as far as like analytics, so social analytics, like likes, follows, this and that. I think going to the background, like maybe you need to hire a different, you know, I don't know, processing system. Maybe you need to change out your team. Maybe you need to hire more. Maybe you need to hire less. Like, it's the internal systems that you create for your business that really carry your business. It's not the thing that everybody else is seeing as well. So I just really wanted to say that because I think people that are from the outside of the industry looking in, they see what is visible. They don't see what is invisible. But like, as a business owner that's been in business for over 10 years, I'll tell you, like, the most pivotal things in the business never showed up online. I mean, we don't post everything.
No.
We really don't. I mean, you know, like, you can't, and nobody does, and nobody should, you know? So don't fall for the beautiful stuff, because people only post what's working.
Right.
And, you know, I've seen people legit have tons and tons of followers, tons and tons of but their business is in debt. They took out more than they could chew. And I've also seen people on social media try to impress social media by buying things they can't afford, like a bigger house, a bigger car, to say, hey, you know, I'm super successful, book the classes with me. And it works for a second, but hey, now you have all these loans that you flexed to do, and you can't really flex like that yet.
Yeah.
So you have to like be honest with yourself. And I think it really, really, really just all stems out to what you wrote on the paper. Okay, so I think we covered everything. We covered integrity, how to keep yourself happy while posting, how many pages to have, so different things. But really, I think this topic is so customized to what your goals are, who you want to be, and you know what. It's a tool at the end of the day. It doesn't define you, and it shouldn't use you. You should use it, and you should define it. But I think with it being such a major part of our lives, I think that it does consume people sometimes. And it's a shitty place to be in when you're like consumed by staying up at night editing, or staying up, you know, doing things that aren't necessarily the only way to grow. Again, most major businesses are growing in ways completely off social media. So I just wanted to highlight that, just to kind of like take the pressure off. But then, as we said that, you know, we see different artists doing what social media wants them to do and doing what works, but then also balancing it with doing what makes them happy, like that comedian. What would you say?
Matt Rife.
Matt Rife. Yeah. See, and I don't know much about Matt Rife, but I know exactly what you're talking about. He seems like he's doing a really good job at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, as an artist, whether it's a tattoo artist, permanent makeup artist, I don't know, musician, all types of art are going to require you to balance what your fans want or your clients want and what you want to do at the same time. And I just think that social media kind of brings up a interesting, like, variable to that, because it's not A to B anymore. It's more like, you know, A, B, C, D, like multiple steps to the one thing. So, I think this was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys, seriously, please subscribe because we are into analytics too. And share the podcast. I hope this was beneficial to you. We're also going to be posting them on YouTube. So if your friends don't have Spotify, they can go to YouTube now and find us. You can always DM us too. Let us know how we're doing. If you have any questions or topics you want us to kind of like talk about. We're very interactive and we do like to chat with everybody. So yeah, thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next episode.
All right. See you.